Oh my god, you guys, look. The feet. Hello my friends, and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all well, and I hope you had a great September. Mine was a bit of a roller coaster, I'm not gonna lie. I attended a webinar on starting up your own business, and it was really interesting. I did learn a lot of things on what I need to focus on. I got to meet a fellow Bujoist and Canadian when she came to my part of the province, and that was really awesome. I love meeting people that I talk to online, even though I am super awkward in person and I have zero idea on how to keep a conversation going naturally. So I hope I wasn't too awkward, Ange. On another note, I've been dealing with a lot of chronic back pain, unfortunately, due to sciatica, which just seemed to have developed over the last few years. Not gonna lie, it does suck, and a lot of the time I can't really move or function without some degree of pain, but I'm waiting to hear from a specialist, so hopefully, fingers crossed, we can get that sorted out. Just gets kind of tiring always being in pain, you know? Also, the most important news is that I got myself a pair of roller skates. Well, technically I ordered them, so I'm still waiting for them to come in. But you guys, I am so excited. I've ice skated before and rollerbladed, so I'm not a total newbie, but I'm definitely rusty. So pray for me that I don't break my neck. I'm just super excited to be starting a new hobby that's fun and active. Anyways, enough about me. How has your month been? Give me all the deets, the good and the bad. I'm here to celebrate with you or wallow, depending on what you need. Now moving on to the actual point of this video. I'm finally in October, which is nuts, but I'm actually really excited about it since October means fall, and fall is the best season in my opinion. Comfy cool nights for sleeping, cute sweaters and boots, apple picking, fresh cookies, the leaves are changing. It's just lovely. Oh, and the humidity finally leaves so I can style my hair without frizz immediately crashing the party. Oh my god, I'm on a tangent already. Okay, so this month's theme is going to be daffodils, which I know have nothing to do with fall. When I decided at the beginning of the year to do a different flower each month, I didn't really plan anything past that. So every month I had to sit down and think of the next flower. And as someone who doesn't actually know much about flowers, this was pretty difficult. So I just chose whatever would look like to be easy to draw. So now here we are going into fall, and I'm drawing spring flowers. I'm not too bothered by the timing of it, though it is kind of funny. Okay, so for the cover page we have this huge bold lettering up the side of the page. That actually took me quite a while to get the sizing and spacing right. I find it surprisingly hard to draw large letters, especially serif fonts. Those little lines can make or break the look. Then we have the cute cluster of daffodils. I actually enjoyed drawing the daffodils a lot. They turned out to be surprisingly easy once I learned their shape. I put them up there with lilies for my favorite flowers to draw. If you are looking for a little tutorial, I uploaded that last week, so do feel free to check that out if you want to learn how to draw them yourself. Okay, so sadly I didn't realize my camera had gone out of focus for this entire page. I am so sorry. Thankfully, there wasn't much to miss on this page. It's a month at a glance kind of spread where I'll write down any events or appointments on the right hand side, then my monthly tasks and focus/goals on the left side. My birthday is actually on the 19th, so there's that. I'm not one to make a big deal out of my birthday, but I may try to make the effort to do something fun on it. Because why not? Most of us don't celebrate ourselves enough, so maybe I should start making more time to actually appreciate myself and give myself some more love. Alright, here we are on the first weekly of the month. I apologize for all the light flickering, the window was open so the breeze was blowing the curtain everywhere. I eventually got annoyed with it and shut it. So for this week, we're going to go with another circular layout, but this time with a whole bunch of little flowers instead of the big jumbo one. I filled in the empty space around them with little leaves and dots, which I think kind of helped a little bit with the fall vibe. Kind of. Oh yeah, for shading, I took a really pale yellow first and just kind of sloppily colored the petals in. I left a lot of white streaks to add some dimension and highlights. I originally wanted to do the daffodils with white petals, but that would have looked kind of weird and unfinished unless I colored them in with white paint, which I was not about to do. So this was kind of a good alternative. Then I went back in with a darker yellow and colored around the edges and the base of the petals. Then went in again with an even darker yellow at the base again for a little bit more depth. As usual, I've slapped on my monthly header sticker and decided this month I wanted a little Dutch door for each weekly. I've seen tons of people line their Dutch doors with washi, so naturally I wanted to hop on the bandwagon and try it too. So I cut and ran on my page, then realized I had placed my sticker way too close to the edge and there was no space left for the washi. I then spent the next 5 minutes trying to unpeel the sticker perfectly. I didn't get it off perfectly, but I did manage to get enough off without tearing too much paper, so I was able to restick it. Crisis averted. So the first Dutch door is complete with a cute white grid washi tape, and I thought it looked adorable. On to week 2. For this week, I'm going back to the rolling weekly task format, aka the Alistair method. The boxes on the left will be for any events, appointments, or notes, and the entire right side will be for the tasks I do that week. Now that I'm looking at this, I may go back and add a little drop shadow to the boxes because it looks a little dull as it is. Needs more color. On the other side, of course, we have a little bundle of daffodils. The leaves are going everywhere, so it's looking a little crazy. I realized this time that it was easier to put the washi on first and cut alongside it rather than trying to line the tape up with the edge of the paper. Then I was able to round the edges with my corner rounder instead of trying to cut the tape around the corner with scissors. Progress. This next weekly is in a new format for me. The left-hand side is again a section for events and appointments. Then we have the usual little boxes for daily tasks and a little weekly to-do and note section. I actually really like how this layout turned out. I think it'll look pretty cute once it's all filled in. The last weekly. This is 100% a more basic and traditional layout for the weeklies. Well, traditional amongst the people that decorate their weeklies, not so traditional in the sense of how the creator originally made his logs. But we've got a box for each day of the week. They're kind of large boxes, so I may end up splitting them up between tasks and maybe like a little blurb about how the day went itself. And of course we have a bunch of random daffodils to tie it all in. I got the urge for some reason to handwrite the days of the week for this spread, so I saved myself some stickers. The last strip of washi tape for the weeklies, and she is complete. As per usual, we've got a page dedicated to just a drawing of the monthly theme's flower. The past few times I've only drawn specifically the flower, but this time I wanted to make it into a little bouquet. So I threw in some extra leaves and some baby's breath-esque flowers. These aren't really baby's breath. I just kind of made up this plant based on whatever plant has bunches of tiny flowers. I was going to leave them as white, but then I decided I wanted to add a little more color and opted for purple instead, as you'll see in a bit. You know, for every theme this year, I've had to look up a new flower to draw. And every month I get intimidated by them, thinking there's no way I can draw that, it's way too complicated. In January, I barely knew how to even draw basic flower doodles. I didn't have any concept of space or dimension or positioning, so I just attempted to recreate things I saw online. It was a good learning process though, and I started to become more comfortable with petal shapes. I didn't have an actual flower as a theme, instead I was focused on just the general floral theme. In February, I began to learn a little bit more about the centers of some flowers and started dabbling in shading. My positioning was still off and my line work was stiff, but I kept at it. In March, I decided to start choosing a specific flower to learn each month, so I started with the magnolia. I started focusing on learning petal shapes and sizes and how the flower looked from different angles. Looking back, a lot of my drawings looked nothing like magnolias, but some of the others did, so I was still making progress. In April, I learned just how little I actually knew about flowers. I did a poppy theme, but I alternated between some good drawings and some that looked nothing like poppies, because I didn't actually know what I was looking for in my reference pictures. In May, I decided to do my lily theme, which was one of my favorites as I said earlier. I started getting comfortable with shading and the curvature of petals. This was the first theme where I was generally happy with all of my drawings and started gaining confidence in my florals. June was a hit to that confidence though when I took on peonies. My attempts flip-flopped a lot between being satisfactory and disappointing, and I still wasn't entirely sure of sizing and positioning. I did, however, jump into my first full-color drawing, which started a new obsession and confidence in shading. July was my first theme entirely in cover while I focused on roses. It was also during this month I decided to stick with having a page dedicated to each flower. I loved every page of this theme, and I was so happy to finally be making good progress. August sunflowers taught me something new. At this point, I was now comfortable with drawing most flowers, but I realized my patience level when it came to flowers with lots of petals. Sunflowers were by far the most time-consuming flower for me to draw, and I almost didn't have the patience for it. I absolutely loved this theme, but I was happy when I finished making it. And I probably won't be drawing sunflowers again anytime soon. September revived that love for drawing flowers when I did the tulips. A very basic flower to draw, but they come to life when shading and coloring comes in. And now here we are at October. I've enjoyed drawing these daffodils, and I can say I feel pretty good now in my ability to draw flowers. At least in my style. I'm not a hyper-realistic type of artist, as I still don't really have the eye for that kind of detail. And I'm not without my mess-ups. I draw my flowers, get them wrong, erase, draw again, and erase again. But eventually I get it right. And that's what life is, right? Try and try again. And eventually you'll try so much that you just get comfortable and you know what to do. Anyway, that was a huge ramble. I didn't bother saying anything about the habit tracker because it's pretty basic. Now we're on to a new type of review page that I wanted to recreate from Pinterest. Of course, I didn't realize I wrote the wrong month until I inked it in, so I had to cut a piece of paper from the back of my journal to cover it up. Then I spaced the letters terribly, so the flow is awful. But I don't care enough to fix it, and like I said, I am not without my mess-ups. The left side is split into two parts, what worked and what needs improvement. The top of the right page will be for stats of the month, how many posts I had on Insta, how many workouts I completed, how many glasses of water on average per day, and my total steps over the entire month. There isn't really anything functional or useful about this, but I thought it'd be fun to try out. You may notice that I left the numbers there penciled in, and I basically just left those there for spacing so that when I do actually ink it in, I know what kind of size to make the numbers. The section below that will be for highlights of the month. Any big happenings or small happenings of note. Maybe I had an amazing cold brew coffee, who knows. Below that is a section for goals that I want to focus on going into November. So that being said, here's a completed flip through of the entire October setup. I hope you enjoyed watching, and I hope maybe I give you a little inspiration to keep practicing at something if you're just starting out and feeling a little discouraged or impatient. I hope you have an amazing October. May it be full of all the fall festivities, cozy sweaters, and delicious warm drinks. As always, thank you so much for watching and chilling here with me. Talk to you soon!